Arguing with management about electrical work can be difficult, especially when they disregard codes and standards. As a qualified electrician, you have a responsibility to ensure installations meet applicable codes. In the situation described, the installation appears to violate the National Electrical Code, specifically sections 400.85 and 300.11a. The suggestion to cut the cord cap and hardwire the equipment also likely violates the code. Firstly, try explaining to management in a professional and respectful way why the contractor's work doesn't comply with the National Electrical Code. Explain that the code is a consensus document developed by experts to ensure electrical safety. Following the National Electrical Code helps protect everyone using the installation. Secondly, if management remains unconvinced, consider seeking consultation from a qualified electrical inspector. An inspector can evaluate the installation and clarify National Electrical Code requirements. There are a few reasons why management might favor a contractor's opinion over yours. They might not recognize your qualifications in electrical safety, or they might have a pre-existing relationship with the contractor. Regardless, maintaining professionalism and respect is crucial. Standing up for what is right protects workplace safety and sets a good example. Let's discuss the specific code sections mentioned, and then how to best handle disagreements. National Electrical Code Section 400.8 covers uses not permitted for flexible cords and cables. Clause 5 specifically addresses situations where flexible cords are used as a substitute for the fixed wiring of a structure. The intent of this section is to prevent the misuse of flexible cords as permanent wiring solutions. Flexible cords are designed for temporary connections and are not rated for the same level of durability and protection as permanent wiring methods like conduit or cable. Therefore, using a flexible cord to supply power to a permanently installed device, such as a projector, by running it through concealed spaces or structural elements, violates this code requirement. It is important to use appropriate wiring methods designed for permanent installations, ensuring safety and compliance. National Electrical Code Section 300.11 focuses on securing electrical equipment. This section mandates that raceways, cable assemblies, boxes, cabinets, and fittings be securely fastened to the building structure. The purpose is to prevent stress on conductors and terminal connections. It also maintains the integrity of the electrical system during normal use and potential fault conditions. Installing a box without proper support, such as using a T-grid box hanger when installed in a suspended ceiling, compromises the structural integrity of the installation. The weight of the equipment and any tension on the connected wiring can cause the box to sag or detach, leading to potential hazards like loose connections, damaged wiring, and even fire risks. Proper support ensures that the electrical components remain securely in place, providing a safe and reliable electrical system. Now let's discuss why cutting the cord cap and hardwiring is likely a violation. Most equipment, especially those intended for easy relocation or replacement, are designed to be cord and plug connected. Removing the cord cap and hardwiring the device bypasses the intended safety features and listing requirements. Here's why this is generally not permitted, and how to determine if it is. Equipment is often listed by a testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, Intertek, or Canadian Standards Association. This listing signifies that the equipment has been tested and meets specific safety standards. Removing the cord cap and hardwiring the equipment can void this listing, as it alters the original design and compromises the tested safety features. The National Electrical Code Section 110.3b requires that listed or labeled equipment be installed and used in accordance with any instructions included in the listing or labeling. Cutting off the cord cap violates this requirement. Hardwiring the equipment eliminates the overcurrent protection provided by the cord cap's fuse or circuit breaker. Cord and plug connected equipment often includes a fuse or circuit breaker within the plug itself to protect the equipment from overcurrents. Hardwiring the equipment directly to the building's electrical system bypasses this protection. This increases the risk of damage to the equipment and potentially creates a fire hazard. The National Electrical Code requires that all electrical equipment be protected against overcurrents, and hardwiring without proper overcurrent protection violates this requirement. Flexible codes are designed for specific capacities and uses. The National Electrical Code tables specify the allowable capacities for different types and sizes of flexible cords. Using a flexible cord for a permanent connection, especially if it is not properly sized for the load or if it is subjected to excessive strain or physical damage, can create a fire hazard. Hardwiring the equipment eliminates the flexibility and ease of disconnection provided by a cord and plug connection. This can make it difficult to service or replace the equipment. It also can make it more difficult to energize the circuit in case of an emergency. So, in summary, here is a step-by-step approach to handling similar situations. Firstly, document everything. Keep detailed records of all communication with management and the contractor. Include dates, times, and specific points discussed. Photographs and videos of the installation can also be valuable evidence. Secondly, know the code. Familiarize yourself with the specific National Electrical Code sections that apply to the installation. Be able to clearly explain the requirements and the potential hazards of non-compliance. Thirdly, communicate clearly. Present your concerns to management in a professional and respectful manner. Avoid being confrontational or accusatory. Focus on the safety implications of the non-compliant installation. Fourthly, offer solutions. Propose alternative solutions that comply with the National Electrical Code and address management's aesthetic concerns. For example, suggest using a different type of box hanger or routing the wiring in a less visible manner. Fifthly, seek support. If management is unwilling to listen to your concerns, consider seeking support from other qualified electricians, electrical inspectors, or professional organizations. They can provide additional expertise and credibility to your arguments. Sixthly, escalate if necessary. If all else fails, you may need to escalate your concerns to a higher level of management or to a regulatory agency. However, be aware that this could have negative consequences for your employment. Seventhly, know your limits. Understand the limits of your authority and responsibility. You are not required to perform work that you believe is unsafe or non-compliant with the National Electrical Code. If you are directed to do so, document your objections in writing and consider seeking legal advice. Remember, the goal is to ensure the safety of the electrical installation and protect the people who use it. By following these steps, you can increase your chances of resolving the situation in a positive and constructive manner. When explaining the issues to management, you can emphasize the following points to highlight the importance of National Electrical Code compliance. Firstly, safety. The National Electrical Code is designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. Non-compliant installations can increase the risk of electric shock, fire, and other injuries. Secondly, liability. If an accident occurs due to a non-compliant installation, the building owner and management could be held liable for damages. Thirdly, insurance. Insurance companies may deny coverage for losses caused by non-compliant electrical installations. Fourthly, legal requirements. In many jurisdictions, electrical installations must comply with the National Electrical Code. Failure to do so can result in fines, penalties, and legal action. Fifthly, professionalism. As a qualified electrician, you have a professional responsibility to ensure that all electrical installations are safe and compliant. Sixthly, long-term cost. Non-compliant installations may require costly repairs or replacements in the future. Compliant installations are more likely to be reliable and long-lasting. By emphasizing these points, you can help management understand the importance of National Electrical Code compliance and the potential consequences of ignoring it. If you have the opportunity to make further suggestions, consider recommending that the company implement a policy requiring all electrical work to be inspected by a qualified electrical inspector before being put into service. This can help to ensure that all installations are compliant with the National Electrical Code and that any potential hazards are identified and corrected. Remember that safety should always be the top priority. It is crucial to ensure any electrical work is up to code.